Okay, so my topic is on abortion, and my research question is, in what cases is it acceptable for an abortion to be performed on a woman?
Go. Back up. Thank you.
So my claim is that abortion is not acceptable in any case, but if the woman's life is in danger or if she is raped, she should be able to have the choice to have an abortion, but that doesn't necessarily make it the right thing to do. So a little bit of background is that abortion is the leading cause of death in the United States. There's approximately 1.1 million abortions a year, 3,200 a day, 138 an hour, and 2.3 a minute. And by the time I'm done with my presentation, 18 abortions will be performed. In the next slides, there are pictures of abortions, so I just want to give them one. 98% of abortions happen at 12 weeks. As you can tell, the fetus has already developed arms and fingers and legs. 10% of abortions happen at 24 weeks. And at this point, you can see that the fetus's arms and legs and distinctive characteristics such as the nose and the mouth are almost fully developed. And 1% of abortions happen late term. And you may think this isn't a lot, but it's still 11,000 babies that are being aborted late term, which they have fully developed organs such as kidneys and lungs and their brain. Some people think that abortion can happen just by taking a pill and it'll go away, but it's much more gruesome than that. So this is what happens if an abortion is performed. First, they will crush the skull of the fetus and then extract the brain, and then they will individually pull out and grasp the arms and the head and the leg from the fetus. And keep in mind, at early as 8 weeks, the fetus can feel all of this, so imagine this happening to a 24-week-old fetus. And also, Planned Parenthood got caught illegally selling aborted baby body parts to human biologists. So my first stimulus material is attitudes towards Muslim women in the West. It's easy to see through the hypocritical feminism of the Republican administration. More troubling for me are the attitudes of those who genuinely care about women's status. I think this quote can contradict itself because if you look up what democratic feminism or feminists or people who are pro-life are all for, they say they're for equality and a love and acceptance, but they're the ones who are pushing abortion just for their my body, my choice. And they are completely and utterly ignoring the fact that they are killing a human life and just they're taking away the right to live to human just for their right of their body. My next stimulus source is Sense and Sensibility. It's a vignette that reveals a tension between image and reality, a tension that is a persistent source of creativity and art brought to its accumulation by the surrealists, the problem of how the brain represents the external world. I think this quote shows how one can perceive something, and it can relate back to abortion depending on how one can perceive a fetus. Either it's alive or it's not alive. And some people think that the fetus isn't alive because it hasn't experienced the outside world, but as early as 6 weeks, the fetus has a heartbeat, which is its first true sign of life. Then you have the main counterclaim is if the woman is raped or if her life is in danger, she should be able to have an abortion. But it's shown that less than 0.5% of abortions happen on babies that were conceived through rape, and 12% are on babies for the sake of the mother's life. So feminists like to always use this perspective, but they exaggerate how many cases there truly are, but in reality it's not that many. Personally, I think that they should be able to have a choice because they didn't have choice to have sexual intercourse or for their life to be in danger, but that still doesn't make it the right thing to do because it's still killing a human being. So some psychological effects after abortion. If a woman is raped, she's most likely to suffer from psychological effects, and if she has an abortion on top of that, she is most likely to suffer more psychological effects. So a study was done on women who had an abortion and the effects they suffered after it. 36% experienced sleep disturbances, 31% had regrets about their decision, 11% had been prescribed medicine by their doctor, 60% had suicidal thoughts, and 20% actually attempted suicide. This information can inspire other young women not to have an abortion because of the psychological effects they are most likely to suffer from. So in conclusion, one solution is to implement a law that prohibits abortion after 6 weeks, because at 6 weeks, the fetus does have a heartbeat and has its first sign of life. And the Ohio House actually passed this law, but unfortunately, our governor, John Kasich, said that he will veto it. The counter argument opposers will have is that it's not the government's choice if a woman wants to have an abortion or not. But if feminists want the government to protect Roe versus Wade and still fund Planned Parenthood, why shouldn't they have a say in the laws that they're regulating?
Okay, Grace, one question for you. How did you handle the differing perspectives in order to reach a conclusion?
It was really difficult because I read a lot of information that I wanted to support my argument, but didn't necessarily fit. So
How did handling those help you, or maybe not help you reach a conclusion?
I think that having a strong rebuttal helped me come up with the conclusion that the fetus is alive.